Welcome back to another episode of Black Ice Reality Check. I'm your host, Black Ice. We have a very, very, very special guest that flew all the way in here from London. Right, mate? All the way from London.
Yes.
Via Chicago. Please welcome Pearl Davis from Just Pearly Things. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Right on. I'm good. It's good to see you finally.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate it. I was surprised when you sent the message or your team sent the message.
Yeah, no, I saw you, and I just thought you were a really good interviewer. I thought, I saw a couple videos, and I was a fan.
You're a fan?
Yeah.
And not an enemy. Wow. Well, I appreciate you coming on. And I think this is more of a laid back conversation, but two like-minded individuals, but I admire your work. You're very successful. You originally from Chicago, ended up in London, volleyball, semi-pro, basketball too?
Yeah.
So you're a woman of many talents, got a degree?
Well, I'm kind of on, I dropped out. I have an undergraduate degree, but I was in school for my master's overseas in England, and I kept failing my classes.
She's a PhD. Right.
Well, I didn't want to be a PhD. It was part of the volleyball program, so I was like, fine, I'll do it. I just picked like what I thought would be the easiest degree.
Right.
But then I got so busy with the YouTube stuff took off. I just kept failing my classes.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, because I didn't turn things in. It wasn't really like a.
My gosh. Oh my God. Hey, real quick, is the chat up, Trey? Okay. I don't see it on my end, but that's okay. I'm not logged in. So if you see a super chat that comes on and it's something significant, go ahead and. Okay, good. So why did you stay in London? That's my question.
Why did I stay?
Yeah.
So the show, I didn't expect it to like take off as fast as it did.
But why did you start a show? Who inspired you to do what you're doing?
Okay. Who inspired me? I would say I was a big fan of Kevin Samuels.
Right on.
And I thought he was really helpful. Like the stuff he was saying. So a lot of the first like early shows was me saying, oh my gosh, this is like the concept we're going to talk about. Like they're saying we don't like nice guys, we like bad boys. What do you guys think?
Right.
And I was kind of bringing my friends together and saying, what do you guys think of this stuff? You know,
right.
Or something like that.
And what was your friends' responses?
I mean, it was mixed. Like the first one, I think she called men like pedophiles for liking younger women.
I don't get that. What is that? Is that a defense mechanism, or is that just a I'm going to push your buttons, I'm irritated at you?
I think it's just a shaming tactic that feminists
insult,
do to
shame,
compete.
and guilt.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, but so some, but what took off my channel wasn't even the show. It was a reaction series. Because what I would do is there would be girls that I would explain a concept to, and they would start to have the wheels like turn. They'd be like, when I would say, oh, the pay gap isn't real. You know, get these men out of our sports, just like basic stuff. And I would take the girls after the show and say, hey, watch this video with me.
Right.
And actually a lot of girls like came back and said their entire perspective on things changed because they did the reactions. Like these would be like 3, like sometimes 4-hour reactions. We would just sit down and like watch a hour Thomas Sowell, Jordan Peterson, Kevin Samuels
Thomas
video.
Sowell is amazing.
Yeah, I love him. He's actually, that's my dream person that I want to interview.
I was going to ask you. I don't want to skip, but since you're there, if you could have anybody on your podcast that's alive, who would it be?
Thomas Sowell.
Wow.
Mostly because the other ones I think I'll get, but he's a bit older, so I just feel like he's in his 90s. I'm like everyone else. Like I think I'm gonna get Jordan Peterson at some point. I think I'm gonna. I just have a feeling. I think a lot of the people that I would have wanted to.
Do you think you'll ever be invited to like a Joe Rogan show?
I think so at some point.
I think you will.
Yeah. I think for the documentaries I'm doing, I will.
And Matt Walsh?
I think yeah. I think I'll.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because you're you are obviously you're a woman and you're an would you say anti-feminist?
Yes.
So you see it from the guy's perspective, and I don't want to say you're the Andrew Tate of a woman version, but that's what you're described as.
They call me that, yeah.
Right. So when people see you, because it's funny because there's a podcaster, I won't say her name, but she's like, she saw you, she doesn't like you, right? And,
no.
and she said, oh, I'm not a feminist. I go, yeah, you are, because I did a debate with her, and she saw one of your things, and she cannot get past and understand why women will think like you. So maybe you can talk about the value of why you think the way you do.
Well, what was she mad about?
What are feminists always mad about?
Well, you said she thought she wasn't a feminist. So what, she was like one of the conservative feminists?
No, she says she's not a feminist, but she doesn't know what she is. She's delusional, right?
Okay.
So my point is that I think women that are, I call it, they're in the matrix, right? We call it in the matrix. And they're running around in this bubble and they think that it's okay for their behavior. And what they do is right. And that they don't want to lose their identity being with a man. This is the number one response I'm getting in the new trend. I lost my identity. I need to define myself.
I need to define. What do you mean you need to define yourself? Like, I'm sorry, everyone around you influences you. So what, do you lose? Do you lose yourself when you become friends with a girl? Because she influences you. Do you lose yourself with your parents when you spend time with them?
Right.
It's the most stupid.
I think what it is these younger women identify themselves by their Instagram. Their whole life is social media, right?
Right.
And I call it the female attention necessity disorder. That's my new term. And without social media, they lose their mind because of all the attention, the abundance of attention versus the high value man has abundance and can pick and choose who he wants to be with. And so my terminology with fan is that if you take their, I lost my identity. I couldn't have my Instagram, and I'd never give my Instagram up for a man. You're choosing that as your identity over a relationship with a man. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
So I think this whole self-proclaimed, I lost my identity. I didn't know who I was. I don't understand that. Now you talk with a lot of women on your show.
Yes, I do.
Do you hear this response a lot? Like, I don't want to be controlled. I'm not going to be submissive. I'm not going to give them my IG. Can you talk a little bit about why you think they're doing that? Because you get a lot of that in London.
I mean, I think that most people in our generation have never seen a truly traditional relationship. Because even if their parents are married, I think most women run the show in marriages today.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think the way that the laws are set up, the women have to run the show. Because if me and you are in a deal, right, and you can easily, and if you walk away from the deal, you lose everything. If I walk away, I gain everything. You're always going to be trying to make me happy.
So you have leverage.
Yeah. And so I think that like most, even married couples today, I think the women runs the show. I think most people have never seen a truly traditional relationship. And I think most people have never seen a woman like support a man. So
my question then would be, when women say it's not about money, but then I say, well, why don't you live together? You don't need to be married. Why do you feel they need to be married? Is it for leverage and money, or both, or either one? So going back to what we were just talking about, why do you think women want to be married then? Is it to have leverage and control and have access to the money? Or because if you propose what I'm about relationships, okay? If you want to have multiple partners, fine. I don't, Jay Waller, he likes to date a lot of, great. And that's his deal and nothing against it. Go for it. I've been with the same woman for 4 years. I don't need to go out. I could, she says, yeah, if you want, but I'm so busy grinding, right? We're trying to go to the next level. But my point is, we're in a long-term relationship. Some women hate that. Is it because they don't have leverage, or is it because they don't have access to the money if it fails, or both?
I think women want status when they get married. So they want the status of being a wife and they want a wedding day. I don't think most women really have thought. If you ask a girl a question about her wedding, she has a million responses. But if you ask her like, if you ask her like, I mean, how many people, where do you want to get married, all this stuff. But they never answer any questions about like what the marriage would actually look like. Like
so they have no idea.
No, because again, I think that most people have never seen it. I think most people, they either had parents that hated each other, they had parents that the woman ran the show. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does, but I think today it's slim.
And so you feel that, now can you ask, do you know, and you're 26 years old, right? Wow, jeez. I don't want to tell you what I was doing at 26, but I was a male whore at 26. I'll be honest.
That's
my body count. No, but do you know a handful of people around you, and let's say the 40 and under generation that have been married for 15 plus years? Do you know anyone?
Yeah.
You do?
I do.
Okay, and are these people that you grew up with, or are these people, what do these people do? What's their lifestyle
like?
Are
you saying, you said 40 and under?
40 and under. So
I have to think.
You can't talk about your parents. You can't talk about 60, 70, because that's a different generation.
Right.
I was on the cusp. Me and Rollo and Kevin were on the cusp of seeing it dwindle away, right?
I know.
See?
No, I don't. That's so true. You said what, 15 plus years?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
You won't see it.
No.
There's too many distractions, in my opinion.
I know. Yeah, because I was thinking everyone I know is over 40. Wow. That's so true. Okay.
And so we know, and you've said this stat, by 2030, what is it, 50% of women will
be single and childless, yeah.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah, it's super scary.
And then they're going to be on TikTok when they're my age talking about, I'm single. And then the next TikTok, nobody wants to date me, and they're crying. And
Yeah.
men are, so we talked about this in the lobby about finding Jesus, right? Okay, let's talk about that. What is it with women when they I don't want to say hit the wall, but they get to 30, then they get to 35, and then they between 35 and 45 or 40 go find Jesus.
Yeah.
And then what happens then? Talk about that, because you see these responses.
Oh God, the Jesus. I'd like to say I'm Catholic. I know you guys were talking about Catholic school earlier.
We're talking about Catholic girls.
Yeah, I am Catholic, so I don't want it to come off like I think religion's a bad thing or like any of that, because a lot of times people misconstrue what I'm saying. But I just think there's a lot of like feminism has infiltrated the church, and they constantly pander to women and tell us what we want to hear. And they basically tell us that you can be like 30, 31, 32, 33 with a child and do this born again virgin type stuff. And the girls buy it.
They buy it.
And they buy it. They think there's a man at the end of it that's equally yoked. No man that's as like super religious is trying to wife up a 32-year-old with a kid. I'm sorry.
But do you think that the men that buy into that, the simps at the church buy into that, will do that? Because they're the ones that are part of that, born again virgin, right?
Yeah.
So they accept that. But outside of the church, they're like, nah, I'm good.
Well, I think that's why you see like men are leaving the church.
Really?
Mm-hmm. If you look at the under 40 stats, I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but men are leaving the church. Go into a church, look at the people under like 38, roughly. They're mostly women.
And I want to say something, because I was thinking about this on the way here. I'm a Christian, right? But I'm not a Bible thumper, right?
Yeah.
And when people say, oh, you guys are hypocrites. No, I'm a hypocrite. Christianity's not a hypocrite. Catholicism's a part of Christianity. That's not a hypocrite, or Islam or whatever religion, but it's the person, right? Because I sin every day as a man, not sexually. I'm just talking like I speed. That's a sin. Or I may look at a woman. Oh, she's hot.
Right.
Oh, I check out a woman. She's hot. And I had this lady say, oh, why do you look at women or like women's pages? I said, well, it's okay for somebody to like my girlfriend's Instagram, but then I can't like somebody's. You see what I mean? It's a hypocritical move.
Well, and they all talk about, like, the men always preach about like issues from the women's point of view. Like they never, and once you see this, oh God, I watched Rollo's stream on church like a couple of years ago, and I titled it "Rollo Ruined Church for Me," because like all of the freaking churches, they always preach about problems from the woman's point of view. So, for example, they'll have I'm going to say corn addiction groups.
Oh yeah.
But they never have social media addiction groups for the women. They never talk about. I've never heard a preacher talk about that. They'll talk about men cannot cheat or step out, but they don't talk about the women that stop sleeping with their husbands after they get the 2 kids. They don't talk about that's a sin.
Right.
You're supposed to.
And the other thing too, I don't know how we got down this road, but it's funny, and I don't know these individuals.
Yeah.
I don't know Matt Walsh. I don't know Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
But Patrick Bet-David or whatever. They're more on the conservative side, right? You got the red pill conservative, 2 different things. I saw somebody talk about that on the whatever podcast. Mm-hmm. What's red pill conservative? They're separate. They're separate, right? I'm kind of in the middle. Okay. I kind of got, but it's funny because a lot of these guys have slept with their wife before they were married, which is a sin.
Right.
So in essence, I think when people say, I use, like I said, I love Jesus, but I'm not a Bible thumper, right? I'm not going after people with the Bible. I'm not perfect. But I use it as a foundation to keep me grounded. Right. Because as a man, I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go.
Well, that's why
I need something to ground me. Now, I'm not perfect. Mm-hmm. I play poker. That's gambling. Right. That's a sin. I'll check out a hot chick. Wow, she's hot. You see the ass. That's a sin. But I'm not like the Bible thumper guy. That's just how I was raised a Catholic. Mm-hmm. And I just came a just a Foursquare Christian, whatever, non-denominational type deal. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's more honest because a lot of times I think what turns people off of Christianity is like this holier than thou attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like a lot of times, like I was beefing with the Christians recently. I know Blessing says I should stay away from that. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But
I'm sorry, was I not supposed to cover that?
No.
We're not showing her.
No, it's okay. I like talking about this.
But before we go, by the way, I'm going to give a shout out. We're not going to put him on camera. Blessings is her producer. Right?
Yeah, producer.
And he's a wizard, a genius. So if you ever need questions on any of this stuff, like go watch Just Pearly Things podcast. The show's amazing. It's produced properly. It's one of the best shows out there. So go ahead.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was talking about. I was going in on the
holier than thou.
Oh, I was beefing with the Christians on Twitter because I said if a guy steps out, you should try to work it out. Because I said that you're putting your kid at every statistical disadvantage. They're more likely to go to prison. They're more likely to commit suicide. They're more likely to run away from home. Like, and they're more likely to be sexually abused by whoever the woman dates next. So it's like, okay, you're going to put your kid at every statistical advantage because he screwed some stripper in Vegas. It's
right.
Like, maybe we could try to work it out. And I started looking into like the cheating data. And it was like 15% of only like 3% of the time, it was like the guy's a serial cheater. The majority of the time, it's a one-time thing. Now, let's just say they're big liars and we double it. That's still only 6% of the time. It seems like it could be worked out, but all the preachers were just like, oh, no, you can divorce for it. And I'm like, we're supposed to be on the same team. We're supposed to be on the same, keep the family together. Like I thought that, but maybe.
And there's different forms of cheating, right?
Right.
Like these women will have these Instagram. Now my girlfriend's Instagram, she's in fitness, she competes. So there's some pictures on there, but she doesn't have an OnlyFans. She's not showing,
right.
But she's an athlete, right? So she's like, well, do you want? I said no. I'm not even on her Instagram. I don't want to be because that's her brand, right? I ruined her brand. She put me on her Instagram. She lost 2,500 followers immediately.
Right.
And vice versa. I don't want women, feminists going after her just like your ex, right? People went after him.
Right.
So I don't want to get into that. But speaking of which, you're single. Mm-hmm. So what does your ideal man look like?
Ideal guy. I would say I like guys that are super conservative. Ideally in the U.S., because that's kind of been an issue. I'm like moving. So ideally he'd be in the U.S.
What kind of money does he need to make?
Maybe like in U.S. dollars, like, I don't know, 40, 50.
40, 50K?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone's going to say I'm capping. It depends what he does, right? I know everyone's going to say I'm capping.
Well, okay. Well, let's start out.
It depends what he does.
This isn't, we're not trying to diagnose you and break you down, but you're very successful.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you do more than six figures. We're not going to talk about it. Okay. But how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And you got heels on. I wear guys,
heels.
I'm comfortable with my height. I sound like I'm comfortable with my weight. No.
Yeah.
But you're tall.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah.
Because I'm average height in America. That's what, 5'9".
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I'm short. But we've all done the numbers on 6 foot tall,
Right.
6-figure, 6-pack abs, right?
Right.
The probability's like less than 1%.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I gotta go like.
because every year your income is going up.
Right.
The more successful your brand becomes.
Right.
Right. And you're 26, you're at the perfect age. Right. So the question is, because it'll get exposed, you have to find a man that's going to be comfortable with being exposed to being married to you.
Right.
Because your last relationship,
yeah,
they went after him.
They did, yeah.
Is that why you guys broke up or no?
No, they all say he dumped me. I was like, I broke up with him. I'd like to set that straight.
Okay.
But no, I just think our backgrounds are a bit too different. I just couldn't see it like long term.
Somebody said 40, 50K, stop the cap.
I mean, it depends how old he is.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Because you said just so you guys know, Pearl's talking about moving back to the U.S. We're all like, move to Vegas. Now, she's right. When you look at Las Vegas from the outside in, it's like the bottom of hell where Lucifer lives, right?
Okay.
It's not, but it does look like that. But if you move to Miami, that's expensive.
Okay.
It's expensive on the Strip. But outside the Strip, it's very affordable. Now, Florida is a good option, but I think Vegas is better for you. More people come in. I'm going to shoot for you. We need you on our side of the West Coast. Represent West Side, right? But here, 100K, you're doing really well in Vegas. Okay. Really well. But the average income for a man in America is $51,000, right? A black man's $41,000, right? Okay. So you say 40, 50, you got to stop the cap because it's not going to work. I'm not saying you're lying, but you're just guessing because you don't know. But imagine going to Miami and London. London's expensive. Okay. New York, London. Okay. Miami, a little bit less than London, but it's expensive. Okay. So now you're in the top 1%, and he's got to be 6 feet tall because when you got heels on, you got conservative heels on, it's 1.5 inches. Yeah. Now how tall are you?
Like 6'1", 2, roughly.
And he's got to learn. He has to be able to take it to the hoop because you're gonna dunk on him, right?
I mean,
because you play basketball.
Yes, I do.
So what if he can't hoop?
I mean, I don't care.
You're gonna embarrass him.
I mean, well, I've done that before. It didn't. I forgot as a girl you're supposed to like let the guy win.
Oh, how embarrassing!
I know. I have done that where I was seeing someone and I beat them in basketball, and I would say girls let them win. Like you shouldn't do that.
What position did you play? Forward?
I was a center.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Could you dunk?
No, I was I could touch 9'10", which is like 2 inches from rim. That like my peak. I don't think I could jump that high now.
Do you think you could have went pro?
Yeah, I could have. I had a pro contract offered to me in the fall. If the YouTube thing didn't take off, I probably would have taken it.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's what, because I took 3 years off. I worked in sales. That's why I give the 40, 50 a year, because that's what I used to make. So I'm like, is it really, like, because I think, like, would I date someone that worked the same job I used to work? I'm like, well, it was a good job. I respect the job.
Yeah, but when was that? How many years ago?
I don't know, 2-3 years ago.
But you were in Milwaukee.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's not expensive to live in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, they're losing population.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I like the city. It's too bad.
Well, I mean, that's okay. So it's official. Bad. She's moving to Las Vegas. What day? No, I'm just kidding. So no, but how are you preparing yourself? Because this gets asked by women.
Right.
You said you're single.
Yes.
Are you? And I hate this when women say this, but I'm not looking. Mm-hmm. Are you looking? Honestly, you're busy, but are you keeping an eye out?
Yeah.
Do you check DMs?
I do check DMs.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
The issue now is I want to date someone in the U.S. because I don't see myself long term in the UK.
What nationality? You get black, white, or other?
Anything. It doesn't really. I've never gone for like guys that are like Asian, but mostly it's because they're like a lot shorter than me. You know, like a lot. I'm actually okay if they're a little shorter. I don't really mind.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you want a conservative guy?
Yes.
How many kids do you want to have?
I've always said, like, ideally 4, but I'd be
4 kids.
Ideally,
okay,
but at least, but I'm okay with as long as I have 2, I'm okay.
Oh my God, 40K kind of girlfriend. You got to make $250 a year. No, that's good. Yeah. So you want to be married then?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
So you see the fear, shifting gears. See the fear. We talked about this earlier. Of men in America, and the fear of us right now. And I look at it from a business perspective. If you take 100 marriages, 51% are divorced.
Correct.
And out of those 51%. 75 to 80%, the women are filing for divorce. Yes. And I always get, well, why are they filing? And what's funny, they say that, but then I talk to some of the women and they're like, I just wasn't happy. There was no energy. I'm like, what?
Well, marriage in 2023 isn't marriage. It is not marriage today.
What is it?
It's something else. Like we can't call it marriage if you can. Like what is marriage? It's supposed to be for better, for worse, for richer and poor, for sickness and in health. Not until I felt like leaving. Right.
Okay.
And so it's like when you have a contract that is supposed to be for life and now anyone can leave for any reason. I just think marriage today isn't marriage. It's just at this point a long-term relationship.
Do you feel women are rewarded to get divorced?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. And I especially learned this through the divorce documentary that I'm doing when I interview these men that are like getting like actually completely wrecked by these women. Oh my gosh. But
what surprised me in London was this whole you're doing this documentary, right?
Yeah.
And I saw it. You were on, and I won't say the podcast, but I wasn't a fan of the two knuckleheads. But you had brought up that in London, if you get divorced and you have children, all the woman has to do is go to the court and say that she was abused.
Yes.
And what happens?
She gets a free lawyer. And she can kick him out. She can, one, get him arrested by the police and kick him out of the house that he pays for.
With no evidence.
No evidence. And then get a restraining order on him, which are actually really easy to get in the U.S., from what I understand, too, for women. So essentially, one of the guys I talked to was like literally paying the mortgage on a house that he was kicked out of.
Oh, yeah.
With the kids that he couldn't see.
And that was there here.
That was there.
Yeah.
I just interviewed someone also the other day whose ex is trying to make his kid like trans or whatever, and he can't do anything. She still has primary custody.
Well, so I'm from Washington State, Seattle.
Yeah.
They just passed a law, because the difference from the States, from the UK or London, is it the UK? How would you call it?
I say London.
London, okay. The United States is one of the only countries in the world where, one of two, I think, where each state operates like its own country, right? Because United States, so you have the federal law and the state laws. You're from Chicago, right? Born and raised. So in Washington State, the governor just passed a policy that says if your child wants to do a gender reassignment surgery and you say no and they run away from home, the state can take your kids from you.
Wow.
So imagine the state coming to your house and saying, well, we're taking your kids because Bobby wants to be Becky. Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy.
And then the father has no say, or the mom in this situation.
I think when men have children, they are not their kids. I think there is no way to really have a child and have that be your kid, because you are always at the whim of the mother if she wants to be spiteful. And you just have to hope you picked a good one and that she didn't, especially like in the UK, the way it's set up. Here it differs state to state, but like genuinely marriage, there's a lot of ways to protect yourself. But the issue too is that they keep making laws like to get around, like basically still chaining men to marriage. So it's like the guys won't get married, but then they'll say if a girl lives with you for a certain amount of time, then she has like marital rights. It's like whatever legal way, like men try to walk away, they just try to make a new law to force them to be married.
So what they're doing now in the States with prenups aren't even holding up in court, right?
Yeah.
So what I did, Nevada is a non-common law marriage state. Right. So some states, if you live together 2 years, 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, you're automatically, it's common law. So if you break up, it's treated like you were married. Right. She's entitled to some of your earnings. Nevada's not that way. That's why I tell these guys, and I'm not against marriage. Hear me out. I think the laws need to be revamped.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you? Because women talk about equality, but they have more rights than men do.
They do.
Like if I don't want a kid and you have a kid, I got to pay for it, right? And I'm not about abortions, hear me out, but this is an example. You have more rights than I do. If you want an abortion, I don't want you to have an abortion, you're going to get an abortion. I have no say.
Yeah, and if you have unprotected sex with a girl, like I have abortion as a cop out, there's Plan B as a cop out, there's adoption as a cop out. Like you don't have any say in any of that.
No, and you have 41 different contraceptives as a woman, right? It gives you the opportunity to be a 304, right?
Correct.
But I think what's happening now is men are starting to wake up, and I'm all about a marriage. I tell guys, look, do the ceremony. Move to a state that doesn't have common law marriage. Do the ceremony, get married, do the ring if you want. Don't sign the contract, right? And what the first response I get from women is, oh, well, that's not fair. Well, what do you mean it's not fair? So now what you're doing as a business person, I have $4 million as a business person. You want me to go into business with a person, I have a 51% chance that business is going to fail. And then if it fails, they're getting 70% ownership. People say, no, it's 50-50. No, it isn't, because let's talk about that. You're going to get half my net worth. I'm going to have to move out of the house. I'm going to have to pay spousal support, child support. You should take care of your children regardless. And I got to pay the mortgage, and now I got to move into a shitty little apartment. You see what I mean? That's not fair. That's not equal. But then it's like, the reason the women, I believe, are mad is because they don't have leverage. Now the men have leverage. Men aren't leaving marriages. Most men, and I wouldn't say high value men, I'd say the average dude. they actually have to literally see their woman cheat on them. If they find out they cheat, some of them still stay. Men don't really leave.
Yeah, I think men are more, like, they believe more in, like, duty than women do.
Right.
Because women, we're very loyal, but we're loyal to our feelings. And those can change every day. Where men are more, like, loyal to, that's, like, why, like, military, I think, is more for men than women. It's because it gives them, like, the structure, the discipline, like, in a way, like, the loyalty, you know?
Yeah. What was that? How do you feel about that comment? Men love unconditionally, women don't.
I think that's true.
Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, if I date a guy and he's unemployed for 3 years, I'm not going to love him anymore. Like, I mean, just being honest, like, most girls are going to go. And I think most dads would probably advise their daughter to go. I mean, minus he's going through, like, maybe 3 years too soon, but I don't know. I mean,
that's a pretty long time.
Yeah, that is a long time.
I mean, like, there's so many jobs here in Vegas. It's hard to get unemployed, right? You know?
But it's like men, it's not the same. Like, they'll stick, oh my gosh, the men now, they stick it out through everything. Their wife won't be sleeping with them. They stay. I mean, granted, they're kind of forced from the government to stay.
That's what,
their wife gets, like, super fat. They're like, all right, I'm rolling with the punches. I might cheat, but I'm rolling with the punches.
Right.
They literally, they stay through everything. Like, women don't.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's the problem. A lot of, you know, we get locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, I was married for 16 and a half years, right? And then at the end, it was like roommates.
Yeah.
But I stuck it out for the kids. But then it was like I wasn't happy, and I tried as long as I could. But we're good friends from a distance, right? And there's no ill will. I got a question. Do you consider yourself high valued as a woman?
Oh, no.
Because, right, we talk about high value men.
No.
Why? Why?
I think that, like, if I had to pick, like, a high value, I think I'm cute, you know, but I don't think.
But not on looks. I'm not talking about looks. But this is my opinion.
Okay.
We say, what is your sexual marketplace value? That's based on looks.
Okay.
Because women will say, I'm a 10. It's like, no. We're not talking about how you feel. We're talking about how you look.
Okay.
Right? And then the total marketplace value is like you as a person, your character, your loyalty, you know, you as a human being, your values. So I'd say overall, not just looks, okay? I'm talking about as a person. Because when we talk about high value, what do high value men want in a woman? You tell me.
I mean, like, fit, feminine, friendly, I would say is the ideal woman.
Loyal.
Right? Yeah.
The support role, right?
See, I mean, I guess I am really loyal, to be honest. Like, I'm a very loyal person. But the thing is, I just think high value, I think that is like top 5%, 10% of people. And I just wouldn't say I'm like 5-10%.
Are you wifey material?
I like to think so.
Okay.
But I think you'd have to be married to be wifey material.
Okay,
so,
but are you potential wifey?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so when you rate yourself, I always say you're average.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, but in the value area, you're high value. Because you bring a lot of value.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the problem. Right? I tell guys, look, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Right.
You can, but they'll get married, but they'll end up being divorced.
Right.
Because we talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing guys do is they go for looks. But then it's like, what's the other side of the fence look like?
Right.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So, okay, good deal. And what is, my question I had somebody, who is Pearl Davis? How would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself? Well, yeah, it's funny. You would think I'd have a good answer to that.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really family oriented, so I really love my family. I hate being so far from them right now, actually.
Do you see them often?
Not as often as I'd like since I moved. I used to live at home before, but no, not as much anymore, sadly.
But do you live in London downtown?
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
So you are balling.
Well, I mean, women, we spend money like water, right?
Oh my gosh. And let's talk about, you're on your summer tour. You talk about some of the podcasts you've been on. You've been on Valuetainment, both of them.
Last time, not this time.
Weren't you on Adam Value? Isn't that the other
Yeah,
one?
but I wasn't on like this tour. But a couple months ago I was on.
So you've been on Jedediah?
Yes.
Adams on Valuetainment?
Yes.
You've been on Fresh. Have you been on Fresh and Fit?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yes.
Okay, you were on Fresh and Fit. You were on whatever.
Yes.
Who else am I missing? You had Andrew Tate.
Yes.
How did that happen?
His team reached out to me, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'd reached out to him like ages before, but then he got banned on Instagram, so it was gone. But yeah, my recruiter got a message from Andrew, like sartorial shooter, Andrew Tate's friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he reached out, and then I had the idea to bring Brittany Renner on the show. Yeah, and I picked the girls, and I had Auntie on, so that was.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Are you and Auntie on good terms?
Yeah, we're on good terms. Yeah, no. Oh my gosh, it was funny. I was actually supposed to go to Dubai. I forgot about this. I bought everyone tickets to go to Dubai. We were supposed to do the podcast there. My passport expired within 6 months. Dubai doesn't let you in. So I actually probably lost like $10,000, $15,000. Yeah. Yeah. Before I was like, no, why God? Why? Cause I had an assistant that wasn't too good back then. She didn't get trip insurance on anything. I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Most expensive assistant of my life. Let me tell you.
But it was worth it still in the end having him on.
Yeah, because then he was so nice. He came to London then. And then I flew out Brittany Renner too. And she wouldn't have been on the panel if we went to Dubai. So I'm actually really lucky it happened the way it did.
So if your passports expire within 6 months, you can't go to Dubai?
Nope. That's what I learned.
I got to get my passport.
You can't use an emergency passport either if anyone wants to go. Doesn't
really?
Work. Yes.
Wow. Yes. So how did things change after you had Andrew Tate on your show?
Oh, my channel it was already, I think we were at like 50 to 80 million views a month before, but that month was crazy. Like I think we went from 800,000 subs to like 1.3 or 4 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Off of that train, it was other stuff too, but yeah, I got like, I got maybe like 20,000 subs in a day. Like the day I dropped it, it was like 60,000 people watching live. I knew, because I am very good. Whenever I put together a panel, I'm always thinking like, who are the opposite of each other?
Yeah, you have some wild ones on there that are so loud. Nobody ever calls them out.
Yes.
That's my pet peeve. It's like, look, you're single because you're loud and obnoxious.
Yeah. I need to be meaner sometimes.
And another question. How many people have you kicked off your podcast?
Oh my gosh.
You just had another one.
All right, let me think. That chick that was like a 19-year-old kid. Crazy lady. The one that, Esther.
Have you,
3, 4, maybe 3 or 4?
Didn't you have to call the police?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the, was it 4 total we've kicked off? Who's the 5th? I think it's 5, but I forget sometimes.
Wow.
But yeah, I did have to call the police on one lady threatened King Riches, who's like another YouTuber. She said, yeah, she was basically threatening him. And then this other one, called the police and said we like assaulted her.
I saw that. I saw that. Was she blonde?
No, I think she was a brunette.
Hey, I got a super chat. Would love to see Pearl on The View with the 10 people that watch it.
I would love to be on The View. They should have me on.
You think they would?
Maybe. I've seen them have some crazy guests on. I think they'd hate me. They tried to trap me, but I'd be ready for it.
Okay, so I got a deal. Everybody that's watching this, and I don't have the following you have, unless you repost some of these. You're going to have access to all the videos, by the way. So you repost these clips. So if you're watching this podcast, everybody watching it, today or tomorrow, I want you to contact The View and tell them that they need to have Pearl Davis on the show. How about that?
Yes, please do, guys.
National network?
Yes, I would love to be on The View.
Which one's your favorite? Which one's your favorite out of the Whoopi or is it Joy? Or I mean, I'm not talking favorite literal, but
I think I would
Joy
love
Bear?
to have a conversation with Joy or whatever her name is.
Oh.
I would also love to have a conversation with I actually like her, the Asian chick. I don't know her name.
She's not too bad.
I like her, but I saw some clips from her on child support and like she was saying how single mothers should go spend their money on what do you call it? They should be able to spend the money from child support on themselves. And I'd just like to red pill her a little bit on child support.
Wow.
I'd just like to, bring some stories. Ask her if she really thinks this is fair.
Yeah, that's not good at all. Because, I mean, they're doing laws now they're trying to pass, and they're getting all bent out of shape that you got to show proof of where your money goes. They don't like that. What would you change about your route in life that you took when you started podcasting and now, would you change anything that you've done? Do you regret doing anything you did?
When it comes to podcasting?
Yeah, and life too.
Oh, and life. I wish I didn't work in copier sales for 2 years. I wish I didn't do that.
Hey, you know what? You probably got good people skills from it, though.
Yeah, no, I did. But gosh, I could have sold something else.
Do you have nightmares about that?
Yes. That was a horrible job.
I sold long distance. See, that's how old I am. Like Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
He actually worked. I didn't know him.
Okay.
But he was working for WorldCom. I worked for the same company.
Okay.
That's how long I did that. That was a nightmare. We used to go to offices and companies to sell long distance. See, this is before cell phones and mobile phones. That's how old I am. But so you have nightmares about copier sales.
Yeah. I wish, yeah.
Now they have DocuSign.
Yeah, they do.
You don't have to deal with it.
I don't know. The paperwork, the way they had the paperwork was so disorganized. Like, I just couldn't stand corporate because I just kept thinking, like, there has to be a better way to do this stuff. And they didn't like me in corporate because I would go to my boss and say, why do we do it this way? Like, why don't we use this software? This make everything easier. And so then he would be like, I don't know. So then I'd go to my boss's boss and say the same thing. And then I'd go to my boss's boss's boss. Nobody would listen to me.
You know, do you remember the original movie? You're probably too young. Office Space, the movie?
No.
So you need to watch that. You don't watch movies.
Not really.
God,
no.
You're fired. You got to watch movies.
Yeah.
Okay, if you watch the original, Jennifer Aniston's in it.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Office Space. It's a movie. And you're going to laugh because you're going to remember this podcast. I told you to watch it. And you're going to go, oh my God, that was me. That was me at corporate America.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean... And I quit because I'm such a woman. I quit because they said I couldn't. I wanted to help them with their media. This is when I started like looking at media, and they said I couldn't make like videos at work anymore, even though I had more calls than the other guys. So I was like, I have more calls. Why can't in my free time I make videos? And I was like, this is a travesty. And so, then I hated the job anyway. So I just quit. I was like, yeah, I gotta go.
Off to London.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I moved home, and then I told my parents I was unemployed. I was like, I'm gonna be a TikToker.
And that's how you started.
Yeah, that's how I started. And then COVID happened. I was supposed to go to London, so I was delayed by a year. I lived at home for a year.
So how long have you had your YouTube channel?
I think in 2020 I started it. The show I started like a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, question.
Yes.
You talk about demonetization.
Yes.
Now, you're referring to not getting paid, but you're not referring to being like throttled down or shadow banned.
Oh, no, I don't believe in shadow banning.
You don't?
No, I think that's like kind of an excuse.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think that's a case sometimes.
Yeah, the only time I've ever been actually shadow banned is when they age restricted. That's real shadow banning.
Well, now they ask you all these questions. Did you see that? They changed it where like you post a video and you say it's not for children, and then they want you to rate your video. And then they have all these categories. It's like, oh my gosh. Are you setting me up to not get views?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't do the monetization stuff. Like I have.
You have a team.
Yeah.
How many people are on your team?
Oh gosh.
10, 15?
How many do you think work? With the Clippers, how many? 20-something.
You got 27 people?
20-something. I don't know.
20. What?
I mean, if you count like contractors and everything. But...
Okay, so you have an editing team.
Yes.
You run the production team? Kind of.
Blessing does a bit of. He started off as like producing, but now he kind of helps me with like everything.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say Blessing is like management.
So you're telling me it takes a 20-person team to run just Pearly Things?
Yes.
So are you high maintenance? Is she high maintenance? Can you answer that?
You can tell him. You can tell. What?
A little bit.
He said a little bit.
A little bit.
No, that's good though. See that's how, because when you started out, you were doing all your own work.
Yeah, I did everything.
Isn't that a pain in the butt?
Yeah, I outsourced. Like I honestly paid other people before I paid myself.
So you have social media manager running your Instagram.
No, I do my own Instagram.
Okay.
They just do the YouTube stuff.
Okay, I do my own IG.
Yeah.
But I don't have the swag like you have, but
do you think I have swag?
Yeah, dude, you got 20 people running your stuff.
Oh, I thought you meant my Instagram. I'm like, my Instagram game is bad. I'm not.
But you got kicked off TikTok.
And Instagram.
I got kicked off TikTok.
Yeah.
But I have a cheat code now. I figured it out. So
tell me, I've been kicked off 5 times.
Okay, I'm gonna after we get off,
Okay.
I'll tell you, because I'm not a fan of TikTok, but I know how to break the.
Okay.
Yeah, they kicked me off too. So I'm back.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? I don't know if I should bring this up, but I will. It's Chinese owned, right?
Yeah.
If anybody, they oppress women. And I'm not talking about bad stuff on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lady do a blast on me, I don't know what you want to call it, but she put her video on there with me, and she's like, this guy, he's a cheese dick, blah, 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 this and this and this. And she posted it. I thought it was funny, so I went to repost it, and they blocked it. And I went to repost it again, and they said they blocked it. And then I go, okay, well, I'm going to go ask her to get hers removed, and they didn't remove it. I'm like, how does that work?
That's what happened the first, because I almost had 1 million followers on TikTok.
What?
Because this was, and then, you know what's funny? My audience used to be 80% women.
Wait, were you doing the same content you're doing now?
No, I did all this other stuff. It actually sometimes like backfired a bit because they'd find an old clip and think it was serious when it was like kind of like a skit or something.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll be like, "Oh my God, Pearl did that." I'm like, "No, it was just to be funny." But yeah, but no, I did TikTok before YouTube. So I almost had 1 million followers. And then I called a girl a whale because she called me a slag. And I didn't know what a slag meant.
What's a slag?
Yeah, it's like a British term. I didn't know either. It's a British term for whore. So I was like, okay, well, you're a whale, clearly. And so, yeah, and then they banned me when I was just responding. So.
Yeah, so let's talk about your Pearl serious question. Where are founders right for not allowing women to vote?
Oh, yeah, I don't think women should vote. Oh, shoot. Sorry.
You don't think women should vote?
No.
Why is that?
I think right now there's selective service for men, which means you have to be like basically drafted. It's like the new version of the draft. If there's a time of war, you have to, go fight. And I think that's fair. Like if you're living in a country, like, yeah, you should defend it. But the issue is women don't have that same right. So why do we still get the same freedom? Like, that's why women didn't vote before. Like, they always spin it. Because, okay.
Well, also, they didn't want it. They also, women chose.
We didn't want to.
They didn't want to vote because then they had to be like police officers, firemen, and they had to do all this stuff. They're like, I don't want to do that stuff.
Like, we're good. But that's the thing. Feminism is always, we want all the freedom without the responsibility that comes with it. The responsibility is selective service. So now you just want special treatment. And so I think unless we want to do that, I think we shouldn't have it. It's never going to happen. So it's kind of just like, like in what world? And I also read the anti-suffragettes, like actual writings, because I couldn't figure out when I first heard it. I was like, that's crazy. Like, why didn't women want to vote? And they were talking about how this is the beginning of the breakdown of the family. They're trying to break up the family, and that's what happened. Because you're not supposed to have, it's supposed to be like a one man, like a husband and wife. They're supposed to become one in marriage.
The nuclear family's gone, destroyed.
Correct.
But that's done through politics too. Lyndon B. Johnson came in and kind of painted the whole liberal mindset and ruined and took all the fathers out of the homes. Here we'll give you money, more kids you have. We won't let the father see your kid.
Yes.
Katie said something about women vote on emotions.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's why I think they gave women the right to vote, because we're much more susceptible to propaganda. And propaganda started in the 20s when they like radio basically started. And so basically you can tell a girl a sob story, like, oh, there's an 11-year-old who can't get an abortion because she was raped or what, and then the women run to the polls because that's like, we just think on emotion. And so I think that, like, honestly, I think that they gave women the right to vote to use us as a tool. And single women overwhelmingly vote Democrat.
That's interesting you said that. It's interesting. Do you think that most women are feminists or conservative? I say feminists because feminists are liberal Democrats.
I think single women tend to become feminists.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I actually think a lot of conservatives are actually feminists. They just don't know it. Too. So the voting thing, they wouldn't even.
Right.
I think I got Candace Owens red pilled on voting because she put out a video talking about voting after I started talking about, I don't want to say I did it.
You probably did.
I think I did.
You probably did.
But that's the thing. And even the conservatives will still tell the men, man up, be more. When it's like, well, what about the women?
Yeah. It's interesting because I have the same philosophy here that I was like a pro-Trump supporter, right? I walked through the airports. I have another YouTube. It's still up there, but I'm not gonna say what it is. But it went viral. So I had a tank top that said "Blacks for Trumps," right?
Okay.
blacks for Trump. And I went through LAX, San Francisco airport with my Mexican girlfriend, right? And it went viral, right? And it was more of a political YouTube. And I found that in the black community, we were still absorbed with we were indoctrinated in the whole notion that Democrats were there to help. So I have a couple philosophies. It's like, A, I don't need help. I never needed a handout. I went to schools that said I wasn't black enough. I went to schools that said I wasn't white enough. I mean, I'm stuck in the middle. I had to deal with both sides, right? And so the whole point was, growing up, I grew up liberal. Then I owned businesses, and I became a conservative. I voted right. I don't say I'm a conservative person, but I vote right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
I say I'm alt-right.
Alt-right? Okay, there you go. Alt-tab. No, just kidding. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a capitalist.
Right.
I believe in free enterprise, the opportunity to own and run a business in America, capitalism, lower taxes on people, all that stuff. But what I found out about the minorities is now they're waking up in America. And I don't mean woke. They didn't go that. They went right. They're like, wait a minute. You didn't do anything for us. You conned us. And they voted on their emotions like women do. And now they're like, wait a minute. America's we're in bad shape. I mean, all the countries are moving away from our dollar, right? So now what I said they have left is they have the alphabet kids left, LGBTQ, right? Trans, queer, gays, and then they have the feminists. That's all they have left for the vote. So it's interesting you said that, because I find that, and I talk to a lot of successful black people, successful Hispanics, and I asked them, I said, why did you think Trump was bad? But they all ended up coming to the same point that said they were going off their emotions, off of what people were saying or the perception, right? The propaganda.
Right.
Are you with me?
Yes.
And propaganda is what wins elections. But when you take a step back, like Tucker Carlson walked away or was fired but walked away,
right,
and you step outside of the matrix, as you would, I would, Tate, or anybody else, we're in the matrix, but we can step out and go, no, this is what's really going on, and we voice our opinions, we're ostracized for it. Isn't that funny? But we see the reality. And so I always tell people, look, take your emotions out of it. Take a step back, follow the money, see what's really going on, and you'll get the result, right?
Yeah. So,
and I just think that if people will do that, I think they're going to have a better outcome. Let's talk about woke culture. Mm-hmm. How has that worked for you? I mean, you got a lot of, do you see the changes happening in London? Is it as bad as America with?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it gets more divisive every year. I actually think maybe the Trump election was peak divisiveness. Like
you think it was?
Well, I think that I just can't think of a more crazy time than when Trump first ran.
Oh my God.
I just think that was like the peak of woke.
Yeah.
Crazy. That was like when Ben Shapiro destroys social justice warrior clan. I love those. Ben, come back to college campuses. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. No, it's crazy. I think most women are feminists, to be honest, whether they know it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that though? Why do you feel that? What happened?
I mean, I think we're naturally more liberal, like women. Mm. Yeah, like I think unless you have strong men around you, like we naturally gravitate to be more liberal because we're more like caring, compassionate. I guess you could say, like, sure, we always want to take care of the poor person that needs help from the government, whatever.
Okay, more compassionate.
Yeah,
as a woman should be, right?
Yeah,
you feel that way. So I have this. Okay, now I want to get into this because this is an interesting question. In our space, we all talk about this. Kevin talked about it. Rolo, Michael. I don't want to use names because maybe they haven't. Loyalty with men. Mm-hmm. Jay Waller, right?
Okay.
He talks about this, and I'm not begging on him. He's a good dude. I have beef with nobody, but we all have. I think all the guys, all the men, we all agree 90% or 95% with each other, right? I don't think we're all on the like Sneeko, Tate. If we all line this up, we probably don't agree 100% with each other, right? Mm-hmm. How would you feel if you were married to a high value man, when the probability of him seeing other women? What would your mindset be around that?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't be like, yes, sleep with other girls. But I just think, like, as a girl, you just have to ask yourself the question, what are you gonna do if it happens? Because they're saying like half of divorces are caused from cheating, and some say 20%, 30%, but it's high enough that it's a problem.
Do you think it's cheating, or do you think it's exercising options?
Do it well.
I mean, it is cheating, but is
Is he honest about it or not? I think it's cheating is like a breaking of trust, I guess you could say.
Right. But do you think it's expected? Because what I've seen is the higher up the income bracket I've went, the more successful I become or have become. And Rolo's whole talk about sexual marketplace value. You know, when I hit my mid 30s and 40s, my income kept like, it didn't go up slowly. It went vertical, and it's still going. And I see the abundance rule come into play, right? Where when I was younger, all I had was my looks and my cool car, but there's no value. I think women at 18, 19, 20, 21, they like, oh, he's cute, he's got a nice car. And then they get to the 25 and they're like, that doesn't cut it. This guy's got a yacht, right? And so I think what happens is we have an abundance scenario, right? Jay Waller, Michael Sartain, all these guys have an abundance amount of women around us. So if you're going for a conservative high value man, do you feel like he's going to have that same abundance of a supply of women around him? And are you going to feel comfortable with that, being married to him?
I'd just rather not know. That's how
But you're not going to go look for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a woman. I feel like we always look for something, but I'm going to try my best. You know what I mean? No, I mean, I don't think like that's. I'd rather that didn't happen, but if you go for a certain guy, you know it might. And I just don't think you should break up a family for your feelings.
Right.
So
and I'm not supporting that men do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't get it twisted. I'm fine with who I'm with.
Yeah.
I'm not against it or for it. I'm just saying the reality of it is like, you know, whoa, I didn't have this problem, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I've got this problem. It's not a problem. I don't put myself in a situation where I'm out. First of all, I'm not out at nightclubs.
Right.
I'm not anywhere. She's with me most of the time, not because I don't trust myself, but I don't put myself in the situation.
Right.
I've had DMs come in and, it's like, what?
Well, I mean,
like, are you serious? You're married? You're sending me a DM? I have women, and I just kind of delete them and push them. I don't go there, right? So go ahead.
I mean, I grew up, like my dad didn't cheat on my mom, and he was a top 1% earner. I mean, I know they'll all say, oh, he probably did. But yeah, go ahead.
No, because I'm not going to get you triggered.
What?
But do you think he honestly was loyal, 100%?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is just, like, my dad's the best person I know. Like, he's never had social media. He's never drank in his life. He's never done drugs. Like, my dad is just, my parents have only, like slept with each other. So they'd be like, yeah.
So from day one, that's so rare.
Yeah.
That's not even a percent in America, I believe.
I know, yeah.
I mean, the highest, when porn was, corn was able to be downloaded.
Yeah.
Utah had the highest download of corn ever in the United States. Now you just watch it online, right? But there you got the Mormon Bible Belt, right?
Yeah.
And then they're the ones that are supposed to be, hardcore.
Well, I think a lot of those women aren't sleeping with their husbands, is my guess. That's probably why there's the...
Probably.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, like, in Dubai and the Muslim movement having two wives? How do you feel about that?
I can't get with that one. I can't. That's not.
Sneeko converted, Taste converted.
Yeah, I mean, if there's stuff I don't find, I'd like to just not know. It's fine. I'd rather not do the cheating thing. Have him. But at the end of the day, you can't stop it. And so it's like, if he's going to cheat, he's going to cheat. But like, I just think the question as women is like, it's not to control the guys. Because you literally pick someone and you don't know what he's going to do in 5 years. You don't know what he's going to do in 10 years. You hope you picked a good one. But the question is like, what are you going to do if that happens? And I just think at the end of the day, the kids are more important than you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's 100%. I think...
like we want guarantees and there's just no guarantees. You don't know.
No. And this is what I told a woman. I said, would you rather what is it? Pearl, the leader of the pick me team, not a re-comment at all. The point is to be a pick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know how to respond to that.
Oh, no, it's all right. I don't think she was insulting me. It was like she's saying pick me is a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm over here looking at this. I can actually see that better. I'll watch that. So when you talk to women, this is what I tell them. They come up with this whole thing, men cheat, men cheat. I said, would you rather have a high value man cheat or a broke man cheat?
Well, come on. We all know the answer to that one.
Right. So I was with my boyfriend. He was broke and he cheated. Well, why'd you go with a broke guy? Because most of them can't qualify, right? That's why they say that they don't need a man. Well, they don't qualify to have that man.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because the reality is, women say they don't need a man, but they have OnlyFans. They need a lot of men.
Right.
That's what's paying their bills.
Yeah.
Their car, everything they do is related to a man. So when women say they don't need a man, I don't get it.
Well, and we always, like, we need men to run society. Like, if all the jobs that women did, like, disappeared tomorrow, society would stop.
100%.
Like the power line, the internet, building. Like, how many women you see on construction sites actually doing things? I'm not talking about with their whiteboard or whatever, writing things on it.
My whole neighborhood that was started working, building the neighborhood I moved into. Brand new home, October 2020, I put the money down. It was all desert. I didn't even fly out here and look at it. They built the whole neighborhood. It just finished last December, okay? The whole time, I never saw one woman at all.
No.
All I saw was Modelos and Hispanic music the whole time. I joke with my girlfriend, she's Mexican, oh, your cousins are out there, right? We joke with each other, right? But I didn't see one woman. And this whole, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematic jobs that most men take, women don't take those jobs.
Yeah, we don't want to do the hardest jobs in society. And I would argue they're harder. A lot of women will be like, oh, our jobs are equally as hard. I'm like, is it really harder for me to talk into a microphone than it is to build a building?
I don't want to do that work.
Yeah.
She said it was a compliment. Much love from Vegas.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
Sorry, Chelsea. So the other thing, 20 plus years in the tech industry, I work with HR.
Okay.
I've never once recruited a top level woman that made less than a man, ever. In fact, a lot of the women I recruited that were in the VPC level roles made more than some of the guys. So when this whole thing about equality with income, it's like, first of all, men work more hours than women generally. And most of the time they take the jobs that women don't want.
Well, and the other narrative they have is that younger women are out earning men. But I think it's because of our beauty.
100%.
Yeah, so I think they're out earning
100%
in sales, administrative, like whatever it is, like front facing roles. And so they think, oh, I'm like more competent than this guy, but you're not more competent. Like you just have beauty.
It's pretty privilege.
Yeah, it's pretty privilege.
And you don't wait in lines. You get the advantage, and that's the whole thing. And to my point, my girl with her Instagram, it's like, look, if I'm on there, people are going to come after me. You're building a brand. You're trying to compete. At the same time, you're going to lose followers. I don't worry about that. At my level, I do not worry about that. I told her, I choose to be with you. If there's chaos and craziness, I don't need it, right? But she's one of the best people I've been with. I'm blessed to have her. I'm happy. I have no complaints. So, now we got to get Pearl. I got a 1-800 number to marry Pearl, right? No, but no, we're gonna get you out here. I think Vegas is a play for you. Yeah.
What are the guys like out here?
Well, okay, there you go. So there's the haves and have-nots. Now, here's the thing. I tell single men, I said, don't date women in Vegas.
Okay.
But there's people in Vegas that aren't part of the industry folks.
Okay.
The industry people, right? That work in the industry, that work at the casinos, the nightclubs, the bottle service, going to EDC, the electronic disc Daisy concert, right?
Right.
Those people, I would say avoid.
Okay.
Because they're in the scene.
Okay.
They go for the shiny objects. But you have the people that moved from California, they moved from other cities, and they're in the suburbs. My husband, he's in the hospitality industry. He's a manager of the Wynn Hotel.
Yeah.
Right? And they live out in the suburbs, and they do the soccer mom stuff. They go to church, do whatever.
Yeah.
There's people, but for here's what I'll say. For women, it's kind of a catch-22. Men, I say date and see markets. Milwaukee's a C market. You get a lot of chats.
Yeah.
What is it? Pearl, can we skip the first date and just get married? I make more than 50K.
Wow. Sounds like my dream guy.
Wait, Mark, how tall are you is the question. He says he's 5'2". No, I'm just kidding. So I tell men to go date. And so you were in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's a C market. That's a small place.
Okay.
It's not big like, LA, San Francisco, New York.
Right.
Chicago, Seattle. Those are A markets. people are generally, I would say, used and abused. They're living in a different world.
Okay.
You go to like Tucson, where I met her. Nothing's
Okay.
happening in Tucson.
Okay.
Right? U of A is there, University of Arizona, but it's like you have that, the military, and then you have Lockheed Martin. That's it.
Okay.
Nobody moves to Tucson. They move out. Are you with me?
Okay. Yeah.
So small town, they're not corrupt, right? You're a small town girl, fair. You were in Chicago. What part of Chicago are you from?
It was like 45 minutes from Chicago. Do you know? I don't want to say. I'll say.
Don't say that, but is it a smaller town?
I'll say the general. Do you know Marengo area? No, it wasn't like a smaller.
It was a suburb.
Yeah, suburb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of a small town.
Yeah.
Okay. Small town girl. Perfect example. But you didn't get corrupted, right? So you're you're wifey material. I believe that you're a suitable person for the right man. But you're not going to be corrupt because of what you believe in. You have a foundation. You do the podcast. You live the life, you preach it, right? You speak it into existence. Now, imagine if you didn't have that foundation and you moved to Vegas. You moved to LA.
Yeah, you'd be nuts.
Then you'd have an OnlyFans,
Right.
on the polls.
Yeah.
You do soft porn. You think everything was. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So for guys, for you being here is rare.
Really?
Well, yeah, because women like you are married here.
Oh, I see. Because
So-
all the girls are like crazy here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They've been on my podcast. They said, well, I am crazy. They'll tell you that. They'll tell you that,
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, the last part. I don't want to keep you all day. I know you got stuff to do. She's on a tour here. She's on a time limit. She's high maintenance, high valued, right?
See what you got going. He's a modern
You missed
producer.
2 super chats, by the way.
Oh, what were they?
It was Raymond and
Pearl, you
I can put it up.
and
now.
Blessing are incredible. Yeah, put it up on the screen. Thank you, Raymond. I appreciate that. And what's the other one? Yeah, we got that. Yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea, thank you. What were you saying?
I don't know.
Okay, if you weren't podcasting, what would you do for a living?
Sing.
Are you a singer? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
or
not gonna-
volleyball.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot. Blessing's like, no. I'm not gonna make you sing. But what kind of music do you sing?
I do country, like pop type stuff. Would you say we're producing an album probably?
Wait. You got an album. You got a documentary.
Yeah.
You got a successful podcast.
Yeah.
You're basically a qualified pro athlete, even though you haven't played, but you could play pro.
Yeah.
What else don't you do, or do you? Can you cook?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm not.
Here we go.
No. I couldn't cook like 2-3 years ago, but the last like 2 years I've been learning to cook.
And
So-
we're not talking about like Hot Pockets. We're talking about
No, I learned jollof rice. I learned they taught me how to knead bread, so I can make bread from scratch
What?
now. Yeah. What was the other one? I did like
Blessings. Can she cook? Don't lie, bro. Okay. Don't put them on, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just think like in terms of volleyball, I'm probably top 10% in terms of volleyball skill. I would say, yeah, just for how far I've taken the sport.
What about like beach? Would you do beach pro volleyball?
Oh gosh, I'm not as good at beach. I don't think I'd have the time to get as good at beach. That's just a different game.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very different. You have to be a lot more of like an all-around player, and I was more specialized.
Wow, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. Last part.
I've always just really liked hobbies. Like I've just always been very into my hobbies. Like just very much. Like I play guitar, I play piano. Like I just have always. I'm
feeling kind of insignificant here. I'm feeling threatened.
What are you talking about?
You play
kill it.
guitar. You're doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but.
Wait, what do you have, a Fender Strat, or are you playing acoustic?
Acoustic.
You look like an acoustic girl.
Yeah.
Okay, I
very
can
much.
see that.
I'm not. I just learned guitar like 2 or 3 years ago. I started learning, so that's like more of a newer thing.
How do you have time for all this? Well, you're not married and you don't have kids, so that's one thing.
I mean, how do I put it? I just don't. I've never had a super crazy like social life. Sorry. But I don't know. I did like. when I moved in college, I went out of college. I just really decided like I wanted to build skills that I could use the rest of my life, and I wanted to teach to my kids because I really want my kids to be musical and athletic. And I was like, if my parents were musical and athletic, they could have started training me younger. So I'm trying to build the next generation.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's insane. I mean, I don't even know where to go from here.
I just feel like, kids, you can mold them to be very talented at things.
Oh, I had a question. Yeah, keep talking though. I had a question from somebody. They sent me a DM. I'm sorry, I got to ask this. They asked a question. Why don't you do more collabs with so and so? Hold on one second here. Where is it at? It was a good question, Aaron. He said, can you ask her if she would do more collabs with Allie Drummond?
Oh, Allie.
And Amy Dangerfield.
I don't know who Amy is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Allie, I used to collab with her all the time, but she's having a baby, so she's just been...
Oh, she's busy.
Yeah,
I reached out to her. I didn't hear back from her.
Yeah.
And then what's the other gal? She was Kevin Samuel's buddy. She was just on your podcast.
Melanie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still
great.
cool with her?
Well, I think so. I think she kind of just wanted to duck out of the drama.
Yeah,
so I think she was just kind of trying to stay out of all the drama. So I think we're okay, but I don't know.
I messaged her. She got back to me, but then she didn't follow up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think she's busy too. She's got like kids and stuff.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah, she used to have like a whole kids channel like that she did with her children.
Oh, she was married before?
Yeah, she was
That's
married.
right. She talked about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So any guest you could have on, it would be
Thomas.
So. And what podcast do you want to be on that you haven't been on? We talked about Joe Rogan show.
Probably Joe Rogan.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I want to red pill him about divorce because from what I've seen, maybe he has more red pill. I haven't watched him.
Joe. I say this, and not to disrespect. I think he's an amazing guy. Okay. His jiu-jitsu game's way better than mine. He'd kill me. He's a black belt. But I think he plays it a little safe.
Yeah.
Right. But he, he's a marketing genius.
Yeah. Like
Tate and these guys. I mean, he's got a phenomenal podcast. I think the best thing he could do is have you on his show. I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I can do safe for a podcast. I won't call any women whales, Joe. I promise.
Yeah, so Joe, so if this goes back on your stories or anything, everybody that sees this,
we'll clip it.
Put Pearl on Joe Rogan's show. Okay,
Yes.
Anybody else's show you'd be on?
I'm going on Timcast soon, so that was one I wanted to go on, but I'm doing that this month.
Wow.
Who else? Is there anyone I've said I want?
What about what's the British guy that had Tate on twice? He tried going after him once. Pierce.
Oh yeah, I totally would go on Pierce Morgan. Oh, do you know who I want to go on? I want to go on H3. They recently reached out. I want to go on these liberal podcasts and just stir a ruckus. Yes, I would like to go on The View. I would like to go on just some of these like shows where they just hate men. I would love to go on Lana Rhoades' podcast, Mia Khalifa's podcast. Like
Khalifa.
Put me on with the ladies.
Yeah, they don't want to put you on.
I don't know why.
8 at the Table in New Jersey. That's a good one. You should try to get on that
I've done that.
You were on 8 at the Table?
Yes, I was.
I've been trying to get on. I actually had Rico out here.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he was on my show. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Wow. See, I'm trying to keep up with her. Blessings, I'm trying to keep up with her. Wow, that's good. Is there any other questions or anything you want to talk about? Any topics? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything anybody you want to respond to? Feel free platform.
Anyone I want to respond to? Not really. There's some ladies that are a bit obsessed with me, so I find them very fun.
Like who?
I'm not going to name names.
Okay, well,
but I will. They know who they are. And some grown men with like drama channels.
What do you mean fun? Like, what are they doing?
What are they? They just are like picking together clips and like, digging up my ex-boyfriend and making up lies about him too. And I think they're hilarious. But a lot of people, I've never seen them. Yeah, yeah.
What about, hey, I do want to go back to this. I think it's an interesting topic because the whole society's trying to force feed us this whole being overweight is beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Let's stop screwing whales, man. Stop it. You make them think they're hotter than they are. If she's over 200 pounds, leave.
Okay,
Leave.
fair statement.
Stop it. Because now you're giving them the attention and the validation. They need to lose weight. Society depends on it.
Save society. You have had them actually show up at your place in London? You said that they were attacking you and your family?
Oh, no. They attacked, well, they did dox my parents' address, the whales, the fat community. They also were harassing my little sister. They didn't show up to my address. I was speaking to a whale on the street.
I saw that. She attacked you.
Yes.
She assaulted you.
Yes. She knocks the mic out of my hand. So I would just say the whale community, you guys need to lose weight because you're clearly mentally unstable based off of all of that.
So how come, okay, well, I have a question, and maybe because you're nice about it, but when you have them on your show,
yes,
and you ask all the women how they rate themselves, and the fat women, the heavier women say they're 10s, like nobody really says anything.
Yeah, I need to be a little bit more.
Well, just bring me on the show. Because here's the thing. If you say you look like Lizzo, and then they get offended, but you just said it's okay to be fat and overweight and be attractive, but then if I say you look like Lizzo, you're offended. You see what I mean? I saw that on a meme. I'm biting that from somebody. I'm copying it.
Yeah.
It's a hypocritical statement. And it's not. And here's the part. Your visceral fat, your internal organs, the fat in your stomach is so unhealthy. It's not even. I'm not making fun of you, but you're using that as an excuse not to take care of yourself. It's driving up our healthcare costs. It's. I don't even know why people accept it. And you're heavier than the men you're dating.
Well, and the question I have for them, it's like if we saw an alcoholic getting drunk every day, everybody we wouldn't want to see that. But we have people that are severely overweight just walking around and like there's no problem. You need to put your blubber on a magazine.
Yeah, but it's shifted now. Now you're seeing that, like Victoria's Secret does it and all this stuff. But what's happened now is they're putting the transgender women in. Adidas came out with an ad with a man in a women's bathing suit for a man. Am I saying that right? Help me out here, guys.
Yeah.
So are you dealing with that at all over there?
The trans, yeah, they have that there too. I had a he/she come on the show. I told him that he was a dude. I was like, I don't know.
Jay Waller. Yeah, he was on there talking about it.
Yeah. I was just like, you are not. And I don't really think we should be accepting. Like, I think you should probably like disown your kids if they're trans.
Really?
Yeah, like like help them, but I don't think like when you become this.
But you accept? Do you treat them as human being?
Oh, of course, I'm polite to them, but I just don't. My issue is like we have parents that are actively supporting them, and I just don't think we should support that. Like that's not good for the family, and a lot of them have hormone imbalances. That's the other thing they don't talk about. I talked to a hormone doctor about this, and he like that's what he's done for like 20, 30 years, and he said that a lot of people would come in, like the men would come in and they'd have high estrogen levels and the women would have high testosterone levels. And that's why they felt like they're the opposite gender. And when he fixed them, they went away.
Yeah. So I come from that background in bodybuilding fitness. And so I know all about the hormones and the testosterone and the HGH, all that stuff. And women, even older women go in and they need testosterone therapy because their estrogen gets too high. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's an imbalance there. So yeah, that's a fact. So I mean, I think that you know, like I tell people, look, I treat everybody equal, but don't force feed something down my throat. And now they're teaching it in schools. They're teaching sex to these kids. So now you got to put them in private schools, right? You know.
Well, we just have this whole society telling us to be accepting. We don't have to accept that in society. Like we don't need to have them in our bathrooms. Like in all honesty, if someone's super crazy, we send them to a mental institution. I think it's mentally insane to think you're the opposite gender. I think that's crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like you can't. If I came in and I came in and I said, "Oh, I'm black," and they're like, "You're white as snow." Like, and I said, "Oh, I'm black." Everyone would be freaking up in arms.
Right.
But for some reason, we have to live in the trans people's delusion. Why do I have to like accommodate to your delusion?
Right. I think you hit the nail on the head. And so for you, the West Coast, you got the Bay, you got LA, you got California right here. I don't know if they'll let you over the border.
I just came from LA on whatever.
Well, yeah, you were in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, Santa Barbara.
Did you see the shift when you landed? Did you notice the people? Did it remind you? I mean, do you pay attention a lot to details?
Not really.
Okay. Well, if you get in LA, a lot of people are just like into this whole earthy thing, right? Like where it's like, hey, I'm a liberal, I'm gonna let you know it. They're gonna, but if I say I'm a conservative, they have problems with it. They have a lot of problems in California. Tax problems, they're running. So, fact, California is losing population, like 9% a year. So everybody's coming here now. Hopefully they don't bring their politics with them, right?
They always do.
I know. So anything else, like who is your favorite guest you had? Was it Andrew Tate? Who's one of your favorite podcasters that you hang out with? You know Jay Waller, you know Andrew Tate, you know Myron. Out of the red pill space, Rollo, who do you like look up to the most or admire?
Gosh, it's so sad. It was Kevin Samuels. But then, I think Fresh and Fit do a great job too.
You do?
Yeah, I think they're really good. Myron's like really sharp. Like I think he knows.
Myron's a sharp dude, man.
Yeah,
he's one of those savants. He's one of those guys that like Michael Sartain.
He's really good too.
Rollo.
Yeah.
Myron. It's like, whoa, you guys are on a whole new level.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate. Jay Waller. Right? They're all amazing guys.
Yeah.
Men. Men of valor. I call them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have one that I like. I think there's a lot of really talented people.
Right on. That's good.
Favorite person on the podcast? That Andrew Tate video, that was probably one of my favorite pieces that I've done. So.
Haram!
Yeah, that was so funny.
My Bugatti. You gotta love that guy.
Yeah.
What's the deal? So have you been in contact with his team? Is he, what's his status?
Yeah, I've spoken to them a little bit. I think that he's not doing interviews till his trial's done.
No, it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
It's interesting on his Twitter. He says Dubai on his Twitter.
Yeah.
Did you see? I don't know if you noticed that. Nobody said anything about it. And I said this before Patrick Bet-David said it. And then he came out with the same video. One of my older videos, they said the first time that they raided Andrew Tate's house. Okay. I knew it was total BS. And they raided his house, and the girl, remember, she got caught on video. Her boyfriend saw her on YouTube, and then she said that she was held captive, but she really went out on her boyfriend to go be on Andrew Tate's house.
Yeah.
And I said, he needs to move to Dubai.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And then the second time, he paid the price. But I think once this thing's done, he's out.
I would get the hell out of there.
And have you been to Dubai yet?
When I was like 18, I went with my dad.
Oh, okay.
Like our family went there.
And your dad's a software guy, right?
Yeah. So we went on the way to India because he has half of his company is in India.
Does he still run that company?
No, they sold it a couple of years ago.
Oh, nice.
But I think he's still on a board of something.
Board of directors, yeah, an advisor, yeah.
He does something.
Wow, cool. So now, do your parents admire what you're doing?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, my dad helps me a lot. Like he helps me. I honestly probably with the expense. I was like, this is why women shouldn't do business. I was thinking because I was like, I probably with the expenses and overhead and just managing everything, I would not have understood how to do it if my dad didn't help me and just having because I was just hiring all these people and I didn't know how to negotiate anything. It was just kind of a shit show.
So you're kind of being taken advantage of a little bit.
In the beginning, yeah. I had this one producer try to double his salary on me, and then this other girl was trying to, I was like, get out. Had to get rid of them.
Are you going to bring your team here if you move?
Yeah, my goal actually is to leave an office in London and have it self-sustaining and sign talents.
So are you going to do a valuetainment brand? Like a JPT. Am I opening a look? She gave him a look. I'm so ahead of you. I've had 6 businesses. Okay,
yeah.
I call corporations.
Yeah.
So I know what you're doing. Look, we won't talk about it. Okay, I already know what you're doing. Let's see. I'm a business guy, man.
I don't know. I'm open. It's just sometimes my team is always like, I can't be managed.
Well, but see, if you have a brand and you have somebody under the flag, like Jedediah or Adam, or a Daily Wire, like Matt Walsh came into Daily Wire, right? And they offered Louder with Crowder, right? Yeah. That whole scandal.
Yeah, if someone did that, I'd probably just record the conversation and put it on YouTube. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Poor Ben, man. I was like, dude, that was so horrible, what he did. But I mean, it's like, look, when Patrick offers Tucker $100 million for 5 years, it's like, wow. And then Tucker says, Tucker's a valuable person, right? But if you create a brand, JPT, and then you have people under that brand, you have one in London, you have West Coast, you here, somebody else over in Florida, but you're here, or Chicago, whatever. Now you have the JPT network. Yeah. Okay. I want 2% royalties for this idea. No, but you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you create the brand and your own podcast. Now you become a network, a national network on the internet, social media. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, we had similar thoughts.
I only want $100 million for 2 years. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyways, man, I don't want to keep you any longer. Is there any other topics you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Blessings. Any things that come to your mind that I didn't bring up?
I want to give a shout out to my producer, because every time I go on all these shows, I give him a raise. No,
Giving a raise?
Let's not get carried away.
I can draw that contract up for you before you leave. No, I'm just kidding. No, but no, he's a good guy. Your show, like your setup. I was looking at your studio. I was like, dude, that's got to be.
No, we went on whatever, and they're having all these tech issues, and I was like, Blessing, if I ever didn't appreciate you, just know I do, because I can't live like that.
We had little tiny ones, but
no, you didn't really.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't talking about you guys.
He couldn't get his YouTube working. That was my issue. That was a user error.
No.
But
No, your set's actually impressive.
It's not mine. So shout out to Sticky Paws Studios in Vegas, John Orlando, and Sticky Paws Crews, and the Action Junkies brand. But
even this was smart. The thing they put up.
Well, so there's a story behind this. We'll tell you offline. But it was originally what happened. I guess I can tell. Somebody designed this for themselves. Like if you came in, like let's say you came to Vegas, and you're like, John, I want you to blow out these 2 studios on their JPT network here. I'll lease it from you, right? And then you decide to do it, but then pull out, right, of the deal, and it was left here. And so, but they got their money for it, but the people decided the partnership broke up and they went different ways or something like that.
Yeah.
So you see, so the middle one, the gentleman who you met earlier, I won't say his name, that came in here, this middle studio is going to be theirs.
Oh, okay.
And then they're going to expand this building.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't want to do what you've done or a Fresh and Fit, where you got your own townhome, condo, or flat. I don't know what they call it in London terminology. And then you have your studio in the living room.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't recommend it. I hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you lose a little bit of privacy.
Yeah, you do.
So option A is you go get one of those condos and then you don't live there.
Correct.
Or you have the studio built out, you lease it, like most corporations lease their office space. I'll draw the contract up for you. And then you lease it and it's JPT network only. Yeah. Nobody else can use it.
Yeah.
You got your props, you got your engineers got keys, they can come in. You can have your podcasters do shows here or whatever when you're out of town. So it's yours. Yeah. And then you go home and everybody leaves you alone.
Yes.
Don't get a cat. You got a cat?
No cat.
You got a dog?
I do have a dog.
That's okay. Don't get a cat, because then I'm going to throw you in with the rest of them. Cats, zodiac signs, and angel numbers. So next time you have the women on that are super feminist, ask them if they have a cat, ask them if they believe in zodiac signs, and ask them if they believe in angel numbers.
I will.
Okay?
You know what's funny? Most girls get a dog when they go through like a breakup, right?
You know what guys get?
What?
We get cars.
Car. Oh, interesting.
I've always done that.
I got a dog because I was sad volleyball ended. This was before I went back to it.
What kind of dog is it? A Labrador?
It's an English bulldog.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's so cute though.
What's her name?
Her name's Ellie. You like Ellie. She's in the studio all the time.
You should bring her on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, I would. I actually wanted to bring her to America, but the issue, because she's in England, but the issue is they charge you like $1,000 to get her.
No, you should have her sit on your thing next to you.
How would that go?
No, but did you see? Look, that shows compassion.
Yeah.
My dog. I was thinking about bringing my guy in here. He's a little dude. He's a lion dog. He's actually a lion. He looks like a lion.
Yeah, she would just. She's a bit.
She's high maintenance like you.
I guess, you know.
Wait, blessings. Don't look. Look at me. Is she high maintenance? Just shake your head. Is she high maintenance? Okay. Okay. So.
What'd you say?
Don't tell her.
What'd you
Don't tell
say?
her. She's like, all right. Well, hey, man, it's been great. I'm so appreciative and blessed that you were here, and blessings you're here. Thank you for coming on. And, you know, next time you're back in July, love to have you on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you tomorrow, maybe not, find out. But thanks for showing up. And everybody, please do yourself a favor. Subscribe to her channel. It's one of the best podcasts out there. It's well produced. The show runs great. She has some great guests on there. High-valued men come on there. Some great women. Got some co-hosts that are on there that are pretty good.
Yes.
Make sure you subscribe to her channel. Subscribe to this channel. Follow her journey on her tour. She's been on a lot of podcasts. Click the bell for notifications, and make sure you share this video and like this video. Stay strong, and we'll see you soon.